Scott Thompson starts his new post as CEO of Yahoo today, 4 months after Carol Bartz left the post in dramatic fashion. Want to size up the different CEOs in the tech industry, the old school versus the new. Steve Ballmer, John Chambers, Larry Ellison have all been around the block for a while. And then the new kids on the block, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, Andrew Mason at Groupon, Dennis Crowley at Foursquare, all 20-something-year-olds running a tech company. Jeff Sonnenfeld is the Senior Associate Dean at the Yale School of Management. Bill George, a professor at Harvard Business School. Guys, worked out so well last time, we thought you'd have you back together. Good to see both of you.
Thanks, Carl.
Good to have a Harvard-Yale fight.
Bill, I remember having a conversation when Steve Jobs died, and the question was whether or not the new generation was going to live up to the incredible standards he and the Ellisons of the world have set. Broadly, do you think that's going to be true?
Well, they may go beyond it. One of the things that's characterized by the baby boomer tech CEOs is they've never been able to succeed themselves. Ellison's been there 34 years, and Ballmer's been there 30, and Chambers 20, now 16 as CEO. And I think there's a real question if can these people develop successors? And if they don't, can they ever really be truly innovative and take their business model to a different plane? I have lots of questions about it at this stage.
One of the key questions, Jeff, will be for Scott Thompson and how you even began to turn around Yahoo where others have failed.
It is a big challenge there. They've got somebody else now with Scott Thompson coming in there. They have another great technologist coming in as opposed to somebody who really has been in a media business. This is fundamentally a media business, and Thompson was a CTO who did a fantastic job building PayPal, doubling it to like making it a $4 billion business within eBay, but selling beyond eBay. But he could show he could be a marketer, yet he really was doing basically customer service. He really hasn't consumer service grown in this space. He's got a board to straighten out. They got to figure out if they're going to be a content provider, a technology company, a media company. He's got a lot on his plate to straighten out. And plus the Alibaba fiasco, where Robin Lee is supposedly here on vacation, and of course we're going to see something happen with the Alibaba taking some big piece away, and the whole Alipay's exit last spring was a disaster for shareholders.
Bill, it's a lot to ask of someone who has a long resume in turnarounds, which he does not.
No, and I'm not optimistic. I think once you pass peak like they did, they're going to struggle competing with Google. Same way with people like RIM and Nokia. Now they've passed peak in the smartphone business. I think they're going to have a real tough time. I don't think they'll stay independent for very long. They turned down a heck of a good offer from Microsoft 4 or 5 years ago, and I think they're going to rue that day. And I think eventually the company will be subsumed by somebody else.
They should have done that Microsoft deal, Bill. You're absolutely right. That was a disaster. I know this board really well. I was shocked that basically Jerry Yang carried the day in killing that deal.
Yeah.
Jeff, your impressions of Mark Zuckerberg?
You know, my impression with Mark Zuckerberg evolved with the company. We can't keep up with Hollywood to help profile who this guy is. He's a lot different than he's been profiled in the media and, of course, in film. In fact, he knows what he doesn't know. Right in the beginning, he was smart enough to go to Sean Parker, of course, the founder of Napster, for tutoring. He went to CFOs of major technology companies. Of course, we read now a lot about his relationship, of course, with Don Graham of the Washington Post, and learning how to be a CEO. I think he's showing tremendous growth in character and a willingness to be a great protege. As headstrong as he is, he also knows where he's exposed.
Yeah. Bill, your impressions of him and comparisons between him and Andrew Mason over at Groupon.
Well, I think Mark is a genius. He's a product genius. But all of these product geniuses need a business person to pair with. And I think the smartest thing he did was to team up with Sheryl Sandberg. I think Sheryl is just terrific as Chief Operating Officer. She's running it day to day that lets Mark free to do his thing in the same way that Steve Jobs and Tim Cook operated at Apple. I think it's a very smart move. The question is, can he go beyond what Facebook is today, and can he deal with some of the tough ethical issues about privacy? I think he's really struggling with these and letting the market decide, and so he's going to have to wrestle with those issues.
He's wrestling with that and some complicated deals. Of course, he's setting up with Microsoft through Skype, and some other opportunities will be very exciting. But Steve Jobs, of course, to your question, Carl, was one of his great mentors, along with Don Graham and Sean Parker and others. So that willingness to seek advice, I think, is very encouraging.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch and see if we're talking about those kids, really, the way we're talking about Ellison and Jobs today. Look forward to it next time. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Bill George, Jeff Sonnenfeld over at Yale and Harvard Business School.